Yo, what's up, everybody? So, this is definitely a different format to what the other videos you're seeing on my page to look like. And hopefully, there's a method to the madness. So, of course, what would it be without starting with the usual phrase of welcome to my channel? First and last time I'm saying it because, yeah, it's not the one. There's this cool thing I've been seeing where if you say, please like and subscribe, I saw on a PC only that the subscribe button just starts glowing. So don't forget to like and subscribe. So it should be doing the things now. So the format for today, and generally just going forward with the YouTube platform, is that I get to be me. Primarily because, yeah, this thing of just always performing or being a musician or being this image for the sake of growing things it's a lot. So I want to use this space as a safe space for me to share my views, to share my processes of thinking and everything. And the big thing though is that this is not where I am prescribing or describing ways things should be or what people should do, but rather a window into my world, if we let it that way, to see how I think, to see what makes me tick, and all the different things I've been through, right? So, as the topic of the video says, planning for 2024, the big thing for me that is a charge to share this is something that I recently heard that just, flipped the script for me in how I look at the process of planning and stuff, right? So before we get to that, I guess it's fitting to understand or hear rather the things that I've encountered in my life that shape the way I think, I guess. So my story is not one of those where I say I grew up in a musical family or I grew up playing in church. Neither of those. In fact, the first time I actively played in a church was at probably 22 years old. Before that, music was not on my radar. Whole of primary, whole of high school. However, I will say that I'm that guy that loves to get involved in things. So gracefully, my school, high school that is, had a lot of extramural activities, so I just ran in head first into stuff like the choir, or we also had a guitar club where we would just come together, play the song that we enjoy, which ended up just being guys who just strummed along to their favorite songs. Not that we necessarily knew how to play the instrument, we knew how to play the songs we love, and that was enough for us. Then for me, the pursuit of actually doing this came only in varsity after high school, and I hadn't done anything music related before that. But the reason why the pursuit for music is a conversation for another day, but I recall asking one of my good mates who was studying music in high school as a subject to, during break time, just help me understand some things, because ambitious Brownlee decided to apply to an institution which, for honor's sake, I won't mention the name because of the conversation to follow. Needless to say, I bombed that interview and audition because I was underprepared, for 1 month to try grasp music and learn how to play my instrument well, too short of a time. And of course, bombed that, so took a crash course for a year at a music academy. And man, they served me so well. They took me through theory and sat me with my instrument, got me some scales and stuff down to be able to get into that institution for further music studies, right? And that's how it was framed, that, bro, we are giving you a crash course so that you're able to get in there and do what you wanted to do through it. So that happened for a year, then enrolled in the institution for the next 5 years to study music And by the grace of God, we got through that and we're here today, you know. The big thing about that, though, for me is that the way things happened within that space were quite hectic, in that a lot of us were expectant of coming out to be cooking musicians the way we had dreamed to be performers, a lot of us, and. However, the way things are set up is that that takes a back seat. So a lot of people end up being discouraged and just calling it quits entirely. So to get to the planning part, specifically as a musician, for me that just turned my world upside down, because the initial thoughts and desires that I had going there to be equipped and skilled to then go do what I initially planned to do just got disrupted. So things didn't go according to plan. And then that gave me a thing of like, does planning even work if this is how things turn out? Because there's always the unknown that can take place. But of course, it's a vital thing to do. So we're out now and life needs to happen. Regardless of how one feels, life needs to happen and the dream needs to be honored, right? So another reason why I personally really struggled with the concept of planning is that, let's say the way it was described for me is, look into the next X amount of years, 5 or 10 years, and picture yourself where you want to be. Then work your way back and create milestones and steps and, things to do to reach those individual milestones, but then to ultimately reach that bigger goal or destination for the 5-year, 10-year mark, whatever the duration is, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Let's say in the next 5 years, I want to own a car. Great thing to desire, but then I'd always just be stuck in the working backwards steps, because like, man, there's literally nothing that I can think of that is in my control to be able to achieve said thing. Of course, it doesn't have to be a materialistic thing. Say, for example, one's desires to be a resident musician at a certain event type of thing, It's also always a thing of like, then how do I work my way backwards from there if I'm just a bedroom producer at the moment, right? How do I move from there to playing at Ultra or something, Until a cousin of mine said something when we were just hanging out the other time. He's like, for him, it's a thing of starting by analyzing where you are, then getting to the point of, okay, in X amount of time, knowing what is possible, this is what I desire in that time frame. And of course, you're also allowed to push the envelope a bit to grow and stretch yourself and not just dream within comfort, but always keep progressing type of thing. And of course, there's a conversation of the chase of progress, which ends up just becoming a destructive cycle in its own, but that's not what I'm advocating. But growth is necessary in itself. So once he said that, I was like, geez, bro, where have you been? I'm like flipping 20-something years old, and only now is the idea of planning ahead looking like something that's doable for me. And there's always been the external pressure. I'm sure you've experienced it in your different ways of, so what are you doing next year? Or Happy New Year, what's this year looking like for you? And you're like, but yeah. Those are the things that I've been trying to figure out since, but I guess this is a start. This is a start. And now that the year is beginning, that's what I'm going to have in my mind and in my headspace in planning for the year. And of course, some will say, I should have done this before, but for me, I feel like this start is a whole lot better than the lack of planning that I have been doing prior, right? So I guess this is also an encouragement in that today is the best day to start whatever you need to do. And as I said in the beginning, this is not me hearing to prescribe or describe or, tell you what to do. Because I can't say, okay, in 2024, as a musician, you must aim for this. Our journeys are different. What we desire individually is different. What we're planning towards, those things are different. Culturally, we're different. So there are other expectations that we do need to plan for that someone else in their context don't even need to consider, So for me, it's like, man, go get what you want to do this year. It's only too late when you don't do it at all. So now is the perfect time to sit with yourself or some friends, because our gifts of wisdom do help us collectively to just be like, hey, this is what I really wish to see happen. Can you help me figure out how to get there? But as for me and my household, which is just myself, because I be just myself. I will be taking the time to figure out the things that I desire, the things that I believe I've heard God say that I need to be doing, not necessarily this year, but with my life. And it's high time that I action that, and not just sit and expect. But of course, God is the one that does the provision. However, there's also the human responsibility to move and not just be slothful in the process, So that's my headspace currently. Wishing you all the best as you sit and plan for 2024. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video or hearing the stuff you have to say about what your process is for planning for this upcoming year or whatever X amount of time you're looking ahead on. In the next video, I will be addressing part of my planning process, but particularly regarding social media and just the thing that I've been wrestling with of the necessity as a musician to gain a following, but then also the core, that thing as a Christian of attention not coming to you, but redirecting it always to Christ. So that's also something my mind has been trying to figure out, but we'll unpack that in the next video. So do enjoy the rest of the week. Take care. See you guys next time. Cheers.